Welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard. And in today's video, we're going to go over some more training camp news. We're going to continue to get some more news throughout the week as long as training camp is going on. So we'll just kind of dive into that. First off, we also got more news on the Kenrich Williams injury, and we'll kind of go over that a little bit more in depth. We'll also talk about Jalen Williams, kind of a fun fact that came out yesterday about his number that he is wearing, and then at the end we'll do our off-season trade and rumor stuff like that, and this one's actually pretty interesting for some OKC fans. But starting off with some more training camp news for the Thunder. Yesterday was their first day of training camp, and we saw a lot of people and all of the guys really talk about how well Nikola Topic has really formed into this team. They talk about how even though he's only 19 and he's one of the youngest guys on this team, that he's really mature for his age, his vision, his court vision, his IQ, and everything along those lines that we talk about, and why the Thunder drafted him is everything that they've seen and even more. They've talked about how he's been able to run with the main guys and really just continue to show off why he should have been a top 3 pick barring his injury. And it's going to be a great thing for the Thunder if he can go out there and be something even better of what we thought Josh Giddey could be. It's just going to continually add depth to this team and just make the Thunder even scarier for this upcoming season. And even guys, Cason Wallace, he said when he was running a scrimmage with some of the guys, he was running with Brooks Barnhizer, he was running with Topic, Isaiah Joe, and Jalen Williams, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. But very interesting lineup, 4 guards, but interesting to see kind of what they're all going about. We've seen a lot of high praise for Chet early on in the training camp. A lot of guys talking about how his off-season work has really shown off in these early days and how he's just ready to really get back into it and prove that he can stay healthy for this entire season and be a big impact player, even more than what he has been and what he was in that past postseason run. So we're getting all great news from the Thunder preseason camp. We're going to continue to go through it all, whether it's good news or bad news, but so far so good on the Thunder side of things, and everybody's healthy, obviously, unless it's Thomas Sorber, but everybody's doing good and healthy, so we should expect to see even greater news continuing for the Thunder. But we'll now kind of transition into talking about the Kenrich Williams news, the bad side of training camp and kind of the start of the Thunder season so far. Yesterday they said that they weren't sure how long Kenrich would be out and kind of that timetable, but came out yesterday that Kenrich will be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. So you're looking at about 2.5 months. So you're really looking at around December, start of the new year, before we're even really talking about Kenrich Williams being a part of this team. So it's going to be interesting to see come that point what the team looks like and what his role can be, because at that point you're creeping up a month and a half away from the All-Star break, and that's really not the halfway point in the season, but that's what people considered the halfway mark of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kenrich will be a part of the team long-term, even after coming back from this knee surgery, or if he's going to be one of those guys that we ship off for some pieces down the road, or a piece that can help us contend and win back-to-back titles this year. So unfortunate news, we won't really see anything from Kenrich until around the December month, possibly even into January and the new year. So just kind of keeping your eye on that. So Kenrich won't really be a part of this team for the foreseeable future, at least for the next 2 months or so. But we'll now kind of transition into talking about Jalen Williams and kind of the history that he is being put a part of in the NBA. Not necessarily what he does, but his number being number 6. And he is the last person to wear number 6 before the league retires it league-wide for Bill Russell. Obviously, the only other league to do a league-wide retirement was Jackie Robinson in baseball for 42. They have a Jackie Robinson Day. And now the NBA is going to do it with Bill Russell. And For the longest time in the MLB, Mariano Rivera still had 42 before they retired it league-wide, so he was able to wear it till he got retired. Same thing with Jalen Williams. They're going to allow him to wear it, but once it's time for him to either want him to change his number or really just be done playing basketball, it will be retired league-wide. So it's kind of cool to see a OKC Thunder player, a guy who's a big hype man, and we know that he takes very much a lot of pride in what he does. He came out throughout media day and talked about if he wants to go to another team to get more playing time because he is good enough to go on a lot of other teams and get even more time than what he is right now. And he said that he's not wanting to go to another team, that he loves playing here. It's an honor to be even on the bench on this team, and it's a blessing every day. Even when you go out there for only a couple minutes, he makes the most of it, and that's exactly what the Thunder want, a guy who you just can rely on to be the hype guy, and doesn't matter what his role is, he's going to be hyped and wanting to do that role no matter what. So him being able to represent the last number 6 league-wide of somebody wearing number 6 is going to be cool. I'm sure he feels beyond honor, and it's going to be interesting to see if he wants to honor Bill Russell in a way where he's like, after this season, I'll switch my number, or if it's a thing where he wants to continue wearing that number for however long until he thinks that he doesn't deserve that number or whatever it might be. So really cool to see Jalen Williams, a part of NBA history, being the last actual NBA player allowed to wear number 6 in the NBA. We're not sure how long that'll be, but kind of some cool news outside of that for the OKC Thunder. But we'll kind of transition into talking our final spot about Russell Westbrook to the Thunder. We've talked about this so much, and it's going to sound like a broken record, but there's just more and more reports that as we get closer to the season that the Thunder and Russ are kind of in talks of possibly him just coming back on a 1-year, very minimal contract and kind of just being that guy where obviously he's going to go ring chasing. He wants to get a ring here with OKC, and obviously nobody in OKC that are fans are going to object to Russ coming back and trying to get that ring. It's just going to be a matter of does he know what his role is going to be? Is he going to want a role where he's actually playing a lot and wanting to be a big contributor? Or is it a thing where he is almost kind of a player coach where he's rarely going to get out there, but he's going to be able to teach these young guys like A.J. Mitchell, Nikola Topic, all these younger guys that were probably watching Russ in his OKC days out there dominating. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get, if it is OKC to Westbrook, or maybe it's even a thing where he ends up going to Houston, where a lot of people think he could go to team back up with KD. If he comes back, is it going to be in a player coach type role where he's teaching a lot of these young guys and just kind of being that guy? Or will he want to come back and try to make an impact and actually be out there playing on the court? And I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of both, but we're going to have to see how that progresses and what kind of goes on from there. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.